everyone, and welcome to Reality Capture Scanners with Leica Geosystems. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenters are Luis de la Cruz and Matthew Missel, laser scanning system and workflow analyst at Leica. At today's webinar, we will cover the full product line from the BLK 360 to the ScanStation PSeries and the full software offering needed for any scan-to-BIM and reality capture projects. Throughout the webinar, you can ask any question at any given point on the left-hand corner. You can ask Luis or Matt to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media, website, and YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars on our YouTube channel at the end, so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it at your own time. We will also be sending all the attendees and absentees as well the recording of this webinar on demand. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Luis. Hi, Luis.
Thank you, Juliana, and hello, everyone. And let me start by sharing my screen. Let me know, Juliana, when you can see it.
Okay, we can see it now.
Perfect. All right, so again, here we are talking about 3D reality capture and the Leica scanners, which is something that I'm really getting very excited about. And I'm sure probably some of you are as well. So just to start, again, we presented this before. We have, this slide, very, it's a summary of the workflow of the reality capture scan-to-BIM workflow, where you go from left to right, all the way from starting the capturing of your existing conditions, existing structures, all the way and then takes you all through the steps that you need to go to, obtaining a final product that you can consume or you can deliver to your customers or your users. Whether it's existing structure and an existing building or a survey or a plant manufacturing site, depending on the application, most likely you're going to have to go through this process. Okay, so it's very important to keep in mind the natural progression. But obviously, and there's obviously a lot of steps in between and details, but obviously it's not the purpose of today's webinar, just to mention the overall workflow. But the point of this webinar, as Juliana said, is to highlight the features, benefits of the Leica products. We have three main products that you can see on the screen. What it's called the P40 or P50 scanners. Those are high-level scanners, high grade. They're very, very robust, very capable of scanning outdoors, indoors projects. They have an advantage which stands out, which is the range and detail capability. You can scan up to 1 kilometer with very, very high resolution. But obviously they're not designed for every single project. So there are projects that are indoors, small in nature, for example, a small manufacturing plant or small operations room, a small, architectural rehab project that you want to capture. You don't need a P50 to do that. You have the BLK 360 that is more suitable for those projects. And the RTC 360, which is in the middle, is the sweet spot in many ways. Is a product that really meets a lot of demands out there for a lot of projects, and so that's why we want to talk about a little bit today. Okay. The BLK 360, as mentioned before, you probably know it. It's really a very user-friendly product. Like I mentioned, it has really good features for ease of use. It's very quick. It's high density for indoors and outdoor projects when your range is really not necessarily large. When you are in need for capturing small rooms with high level of graphic density. It has the new generation, the G2 generation, has the VIS system, which will help you go through the registration process in between setups, in between the different scans. It will help you do the whole process much faster because it will track the scanner itself as you move the scanner around the building, around the rooms. Okay, so it has a higher density sensitivities up to 640,000 points per second, and so it is very, very user friendly, and it's lightweight. So it's ideal for certain certain types of projects. The RTC, it's, like I said, the sweet spot in our product line. And at this point, I will let Matthew, our colleague from Leica, who is a technical expert on the topic, and he actually will explain you a little bit about this product. And he has other things that he'll like to share. And so, Matthew, it's all yours. You can take it from here.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Matthew Mazzell with Leica Geosystems, and as Juliana said, I'm a workflow analyst and training instructor for Leica Geosystems. So basically, what I offer the company is when we do have a new customer that purchases our hardware and our software, we also have to offer an entire training program for you, wherein I can actually come on site and we can teach live classes in a conference room, or we'll come to your office. But we also do have a training resource online, and we do web classes that can be bundled into your overall scanner package, so that what we do by doing this is flatten out your learning curve. Because this new technology, there's key components that we like to put in order, right? That you can, as Luis was showing you, as far as, from the time that we collect the data on through the processing part until we get to a deliverable, which could be any measure of different things, as far as floor plans, pipe designs, topography, or roadway design, or structural analysis, and a lot of different things that we can actually extract. And there's even a forensic component. Okay, we also, I don't know if we have any public safety, law enforcement in the webinar. If we do, then we definitely do service that industry as well. So there's definitely there's that resource there. We don't just send you a scanner and say, here, good luck, right? So we work really close with MicroCAD, and we got a great relationship there. So in order to be able to take those new customers and get them off and running relatively quickly with the new technology. So as Luis was talking about, we've got our BLK 360 and our RTC 360. Okay, on up to what we were talking about, the P40 and 50. Luis did a great job of describing those things to you. The main thing is range and speed and accessibility. So your P40 weighs 27 pounds, your RTC weighs 12 pounds, and your BLK 360 is 2.5 pounds. So all three of those.
Sorry to interrupt you. Are you sharing your screen? I don't know if it's you or Luis.
Yep, I should be.
Oh, okay. It's the BLK 360, right?
Yep, there's the
Okay.
RTC. It says that there's a little bit of a lag, so
Yeah, maybe. No, but it's okay. Sorry.
okay, all right. So moving on into our from the hardware component of what we collect, I'll switch back over into our Register 360 software. Now, from the time that we collect this data, it's stored on the scanner, and then we transfer that data over, right, from any of our 6 sensors here, or 5 sensors, including our Field 360 software, and I'll get to that here in just one second. What you're seeing on the screen now is a real-time example of what we did. I just got back from Guyana with the National Bureau of Standards down there, and they're actually using the scanner. Their application is tank analysis. So what you're looking at here is just your raw point cloud data. So the system uses a pulsed laser that's accurate to 2 millimeters. And what we're looking at here is actual data points that are three-dimensional points that the scanner collects, right? So it gives us and it's very rich data. So it almost looks there like that's our model, right? And what we'll do is we'll assemble all of these point clouds, right? This is just one setup from one perspective, but you can see that our software gives us a really good ability to visually put these puzzle pieces together. So when we look at our overall final product of what we collected, you get this really, really thick and rich data set that we can then go back and use for analysis. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. But I wanted you to see. Now, the other thing that we can actually do, using our Field 360 software, okay? Using our Field 360 software, which is going to be this guy, okay? What we'll be able to do is with a tablet, with an iPad or an Android or even a phone, we can have a visual real-time feedback on what the scanner is actually collecting, okay? And we can do a pre-registration on this. So as you see, being able to track yourself using the viz as we come through, you'll be able to see in real time, you'll see on the tablet that we can see a representation of where we're at in the project. So you can, what it does is it, see your little heartbeat over there on the right-hand side, that will actually show you your position, and it will move with you as you walk with the scanner. So obviously we can see that this room right here did not have a scan. And that gives us the ability to have a really, really nice complete data set, okay? So there's no gaps. There's no empty spaces. There's no, hey, I forgot, we didn't actually get this particular area of a project because I couldn't see the data until I got back in the office. So our Field 360 interface actually lets us eliminate that from the equation altogether, okay? So this is from the collection point. So we go ahead and we take a scanner position there. And then what we'll do is we'll move on to assembling these different scanner positions relative to each other in the field. So by the time we bring this data over into the software, okay, we already have our assembled point cloud. And all of these links and all of the scanner positions are matched up so that they form a complete data set, right? The other thing that we can actually do, let's talk about the panel image. You can see my class there. That's me right there. So I don't have a webcam on, but now y'all know what I look like. So with the high resolution cameras that we have the ability to take this nice, beautiful panoramic image, okay, that actually does overlay onto the point cloud. So if I look at this point cloud here, you see in the background, obviously it's not going to scan the sky, but if we turn our panoramic image on, that gives us a full immersion into what the scanner was seeing. In addition to that, we have the ability to geotag data into our scanner data sets. Okay, so for example, this little pump, this little filter valve right there, okay, you can see that's a decent picture. It is a decent picture from the BLK, but by using a tablet or a smartphone, I can actually geotag a data set. Excuse me. I can actually tag data into this, okay, so that by embedding this in, now I've got this extremely high resolution photo, and I took this with my iPad, and we can tag any kind of data into that. Now, using supplemental data that I can embed, there's a lot more, resolution. So we can tag any kind of data that you would want in there, whether that be mechanical specifications, snapshots, voice notes, any kind of thing like that. And what that does is it enables you to get to your extraction point, to the point of your data extraction involving, maybe it's bridge girders, or maybe it is survey points. For you surveyor out there, you may want to have a control point down on the ground, right, with a northing easting elevation on it. And we can actually get to that really quickly. So the thing that we do on that note, after we actually get our data assembled, the overall data set, we can apply survey control. Let me just remove that. Okay. So we can apply this survey control. Let me just get this back aligned onto my photo. And you can see an overall, this is what we call a site map. Okay. And you can see there's two different types of targets that we can use. So I can actually have assumed locations on things like corners, or I can actually place targets. These are what our targets look like on known control points in the ground. And what we'll do is import those coordinates over here, right? So these are normal northings, eastings, and elevations. And by tagging those data points into our point cloud data, all we need to do is right click, watch the screen closely, apply control, and you'll see now, not only do I have 121 million data points, but every single one of those data points is now a northing, easting, and elevation. So when I look at my clouds here, you see I'm actually getting real-time coordinates on that. Okay, so if I'll just pull a little bit of a dimension there, and you can see these are the actual northings, eastings, and elevations in metric. Sorry, I was in another country last week, where they wanted in meters. So moving on, okay, to now that we've got this data all set on survey control, if that be the case that we need, okay, or maybe the project is just relative to itself, where do we go from here? Okay, so what we'll do after we've got this nice complete data set, there's different things that we can do. So we can go, what we'll do is we'll finalize that data set, and I want to show everybody here what are some of the options here about how we can output this data. Okay, so this is our Register 360 software, and we can output to a proprietary file called an LGS file. Okay, we also have a server-based data sourcing option for Cyclone Enterprise, or maybe we just want to output a PTS, LAS. Obviously, we have an E57 format, which is a widely accepted kind of, at least I guess that's kind of a universal, right? The E57 file.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we also have the ability for an RCP cloud. So if you're currently using RCP files and you're wondering, hey, can I export that to an RCP? The answer is yes. Okay, we do have that option. I prefer LGS, obviously, because that's what is the highest performance type file. And so once we export in one of our formats here, we can then go back directly into AutoCAD using our CloudWorks plugin. So our CloudWorks plugin is actually an extension for AutoCAD or Civil 3D that enables you to open an LGS file directly, or you can attach an RCP. And there's different, obviously there's a lot of different data sourcing options that we have here. Okay, so the other option that we have also is our Cyclone 3DR software. Okay, now I've got an analysis up here for this tank. What Cyclone 3DR does is it's a surface modeling and analysis software. So if anybody does any kind of tank inspections, this is a good option here, right? So if I wanted to know volume from elevation, I just turn that on, and I can put cut planes in on that tank and actually show you just how much it's holding at any given point in time. We can also calculate volumes of topography and have contour lines. And here's actually a roundness analysis right here. You see, so we can actually take different cross sections at different elevations. And the other really cool thing I like is the unroll feature, okay? So what I can actually do is I can unroll the skin of that tank. You see? I can unroll it and have a mesh of the skin of that tank for analysis. You see? So it's really a cool option there. And our reporting for these analyses, whether it be contour mapping for a survey or it be volumes, roundness, maybe we've got any type of structural modeling. We also have a BIM component to this, which I don't really have a good data example of that, but we do actually have a BIM analysis component to register to Cyclone 3DR. But what I like to emphasize in this part of the topic is the ability to create reports. See, 3DR. So what this does is it eliminates your need to say, okay, well, how can I extract information? As you are doing your analyses on these objects or any kind of information that you're extracting from this point cloud, it's all right here in a report that can be exported to PDF. If you're exporting a points list, you can do CSV. There's DXF ability to export any of this information that we're getting. And it's all saved in your project, right? So I'll just show you another quick one here. And let's look at some stockpile analysis. Dead air. I don't like that. So but this would be a good example here. I know that that we've got some some spoils piles. I think I was in Winter Garden, Florida. We did calculated 6.5 million cubic yards of gypsum years ago down over there. And our ability to analyze these different stockpiles and all of that is actually a very, very valuable thing. Okay, so if I take my cloud group off, you can see I can break those stockpiles down into their different components. So if you've got different types of materials, you see the software will automatically extract a surface for each one of those. Okay, so that being said, I think I'm running out of time here, y'all, but I wanted to make sure, because we could talk about this for a long time, right? One more quick thing here, and before I wrap up, because I want to make sure that we understand, when it comes to floor plans, we've got a tool for a lot of different things, right? So if I wanted to create my floor plan, here I am in Civil 3D, and I want to extract floor plans, then that makes it a really good way to come through here. And then, it's just a matter of drafting and digitizing right from your point cloud. See? Just like this. So I won't continue on, Luis. I think I've got my sand is running out, as I said. So I wanted to make sure that I make sure that I show some application here as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Matthew. That was amazing. And as a reminder for everybody, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner.
Yep.
We have a question here. It is, what is the most important factor to decide for a BLK or RTC scanner?
Probably size and speed and range. That would be the difference, right? They're both very fast. They're both very fast data collection. Obviously, the RTC is 2 million points a second. The BLK is 640,000 points a second. But the range is really something. So the RTC is going to collect data at a further range away. And, but is there overlap in the application for both units? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So
the next question we have is, what is the best way to share point cloud files with third-party collaborators?
Okay, so what we have is the easiest way to share this data. If you'll see on the screen right now, I've got this called the TrueView Viewer. Okay, this is a free and unlicensed viewer. And this enables me to simply come in here with my RTC, with my LGS files, and we can just come right in here and let's see a glycol unit. And that enables you to have a single file that you can hand off to an end user or users, and then you can walk right through your data, just like this in 3D. Now, this is what we're looking at here, is obviously it's BLK to go data. Any of your customers can access this data simply by using the LGS file and opening it in the TrueView Viewer. Now, you don't do any modeling in here. You can see that there are some model objects in here, so we do have the ability to embed those model objects in there. But you can make measurements. You can create fly-through videos, measure areas and angles. And so, but that's, to answer the question, the easiest way, right, to share this data. But there are other ways too. With Cyclone Enterprise, we can set up a network or cloud-based option for someone to come in and, open that via a web browser. So we do have a complete, a very comprehensive package of data access capability.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, if you want to learn any of these topics in detail, as Matt mentioned, they have training classes. Also, be sure to be checking the MicroCAD website for future webinars. We have coming up next on April 20, Bluebeam tools, markup chest, and more. And on April 27, we have the Inventor user group that you guys like so much. Both of them at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, thank you, Luis, and thank you, Matthew. That was amazing.
And thank you, Juliana.
No, you're welcome. And thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you.